Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crate Expectations. I'm here with my co-host. Maybe I'll try next time, Sarah. How are you today, Sarah?
I think that was on my report cards growing up.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that and talks too much.
And no combination of maybe I'll try next time to not talk too
Correct.
much.
Correct. Absolutely was not there.
Right. Well, we all suffer from that. Now we're gonna get a million comments. She does not talk too much, Zareth. It's partially true. You know,
Sometimes.
well, I like hearing what your thoughts are. Honestly,
Depends what the
even
topic is.
yeah, like if you're besmirching GAC, I get bored a little bit.
Right.
But
Like
yeah,
maybe I'll try next time.
yeah, that was where that came from. Maybe you will try next time,
It's 3v3.
but we doubt it. Narrator, she didn't.
She didn't. It's 3v3.
Yeah.
I feel like I deserve a little leeway.
I just am concerned that
Uh-huh.
you're going to meet up with me in Kyber 3 against Prevail Man.
I'm a little concerned too.
Like like Prevail Man just got his ass absolutely beat by someone 3 million GP higher than
Oh,
him.
how
Like,
what GP is Prevailment at now? 7?
yeah, 7. The guy was over 10. So
I'm over 11, so we could meet up.
I know you have Leia. Like you don't even have a 7-star Leviathan, so I could conceivably beat you in fleets.
If you
Even
can
though
get to fleets.
silence. No,
Uh,
I would match with you with Professor X. I'd do that, I think.
yeah, but then I have to climb. Just okay, new plan, new plan. What we can do is you can play my account for a little bit and I'll play Professor X and then we'll naturally meet up because I'll just fly.
I don't know if I have that many towels for you to throw in.
Oh man. You would kick my ass on Professor X.
I mean, you fully devote yourself to like guild oriented things with
Right.
but not, you know what, I take it back. Not fully, because territory wars is a guild thing. And sometimes they mandate you to put an Omicron on, and then you don't even apply like all the Omegas to that same character.
I
So
mean, I give the Omegas. The
I was exaggerating a little bit, but
the Zetas are okay. Well, my relic one trench.
I you're gonna break my mind again. We gotta stop. It's not okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's that's so stupid. I hate it.
We got
Okay.
a Datacron this time.
Okay, so let's
I
move on here. Have you worked? Hold on. So real quick, have you worked on Dark Trooper Moff Gideon at all? Are you using him?
uh I've worked on him in the sense that he's relic 7.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't given him any Omicrons yet because I'm waiting to be told which ones I need to do. Um,
That one's
and
coming. That one's coming. That's a good one.
yeah, that one's
He's
coming.
good.
So, and then I need to give. I've been working on like his whole team. I need to relic Stormtrooper up some more because he's only relic. I think he's 3 or 4 or something like that. I need more signal data.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. Um, yeah, I mean that's the bottleneck a lot of people are going through right now. Especially I bet OBS is going through it. OBS.
Oh,
OD,
ODB.
OBS is the program that I use to to stream and to record videos like we're on right now. Yeah, ODB. I think like ODB, because we're starting to get that max crate.
Mm-hmm.
That's starting to become the bottleneck. Like signal data is, like because you need it more because you're everything that Mark III currency goes with
Hmm.
also requires the signal data.
We were talking in our officer chat, and a couple of them mentioned that they're doing 5 refreshes on Cantina now, just to keep up with signal data. And I was like,
Yeah.
that actually kind of sounds like a good plan. And I thought about it, and I was like, that means I really have to try in GAC though.
Well, the funny thing is about GAC, as long as you're treading water, as long as you stay in or out about the same place, like, I mean, I guess you get a little bit more. I think what you'd really have to try in would be Fleet Arena more.
Yeah, I get top 10, which means I'd have to, do the Leviathan counter.
What is that even?
Some other ship. Chimera?
That yeah, that's like Dark Side. And maybe is it like the one neutral ship we have?
I
I
just
feel, I feel
I'm
like
like
I should make things up about
I'm
Leviathan and
I am
just
the epitome of Fleet Arena lazy because I'm like I go in, I do my one battle, sometimes two to get back into top 10, and I don't want to have to change my fleet out.
yeah, you don't have to.
I don't want to do it. I I think would I not fall with a Chimera sitting there?
Oh yeah, you would. I guess what I'm saying is you could get your Leviathan to 7-star, and then
Oh,
you
I
put a
see.
couple relic levels on your Sith Assassin.
Yeah.
Like relic seven's probably enough, and then I mean like I do the mirror all the time with Leviathan now, and even the people I've relic 8 on my main account on Sith Assassin, and there's one guy who has relic 9 on his,
Hmm.
and is like tonight I would have gotten full banners against his Leviathan, even though his Leviathan took over mine.
Um, I feel like I could get away with maybe not going too crazy on relic levels because my fleet chart is like fairly quiet. Um, but to get Leviathan done, I would have to try in Grand Arena so I could get crystals so I could refresh the Leviathan event. It's a vicious circle. It all comes back to Grand Arena.
I just am going to wave the BS flag a lot right now.
Okay, so let's go back to my original plan where you can play Grand Arena on my account for
No,
a little bit.
that's that's such a bad plan.
It'll be fine. Um, think of
I
it like a
I would have.
challenge.
Okay, let's add the twist of maybe I would do that if you had a 7-star Leviathan.
No, you should think of it as a challenge. What can you do with a 6-star Leviathan?
I already do it with Professor X all the time. I'm in Kyber 1, so it's a challenge for sure.
Okay, what would you do with a 6-star Leviathan and a Lord Vader on your account? And a C. You don't have C on Professor X.
Yeah, I would. I'm in Kyber 1 already, so it's all right.
It's fine. Um,
We'll all be fine here. Situation somewhat normal.
sort of normal.
Yeah. No, it's not a big deal. It is funny though. I feel like I should just make things up about Leviathan and like talk about them like they're just obvious and just see how many things you spread around to people about Leviathan. I'm just like oh yeah, like the second reinforcement always needs to be the Dorito.
Totally.
You'll be like,
Hey,
hey,
somebody actually did ask me about Leviathan and why something wasn't working, and I was like, and I knew why, and I was like, it's because you have to bring in the Mark 6 has to be second. You can't bring him in first.
wow.
And I was quite proud of myself. And that was the extent of my ship knowledge.
They, have you ever had that happen? I've had that happen before where someone asks me a question about a thing that I just don't know much about.
Hmm.
But it's like the one thing I actually know for sure. And I'm
See,
like, and I can just like, here it is. Here's the answer. And people are like, oh, yeah, wise. You know that counter, don't you? I'm like, yeah, you betcha.
see, but it's dangerous because then they're like, hey, remember that time you helped me with this topic? I have more questions. Like, no.
Right. Well, the first bit of knowledge is free. So I want. I'd like you to take a more hands-on approach and learn it for yourself, please.
Oh, not me specifically, just other people in general.
Yeah,
Got
the
it.
hypothetical,
Yeah.
and you also, but
No. Uh, Otherwise though, there's nothing else happening in the game right now. Hence our already derailed conversation.
I mean, there is kind of, and also, I don't know. What do you think? Next week, big news week.
I don't know. I feel like CG took another Christmas break. They like came back and they're like, "Hey, here's our ship. Bye." And then they just left.
Here's a ship most people won't care about.
By the way, we messed up the make good.
That's the thing that's going on right now.
Like
I, I don't know how my mind has been broken so many times this week. I'm like,
I
2024 is not off to a good start for CG.
I literally so on Monday night I was doing my patron chat and we were talking about the make good because it hadn't happened yet and we were like, "Oh, like did they forget? Like what's going on? How would this work?" And I was like, "Well, you're gonna go. It's gonna be iOS users." I was like, "I'm assuming they're doing a make good for the people." What I assumed at the time was it was for the people that saw the lower price, but then were charged the $50 price. Um, and I was like, it's a very small window of time. So you just go and address the people that bought the pack on an iOS device at like this window of time, and then you're set. Um, I'm like, and that's who you need to address. And then literally the next day it came out and it just was wrong.
I honestly, I was so frustrated because if I could have had that pack, like I'm not an iOS user, so if I could have had that
Right.
pack for $20, I would have jumped on it for sure,
Hmm.
no question. So the people who had iOS and were able to get it, I was pretty jealous. Of course I was.
Right.
And then on top of that, CG's like, "Hey, you didn't get a good enough deal. Here's 9,000 crystals for you." On top of that,
I was like, okay, 9,000 crystals if you bought the pack, thinking like if you bought it at the full price or on Android or whatever. No, no.
no,
Just 9,000 crystals. No.
may as
Oh,
well.
I should say it's 4,500 crystals, 9,000 if you bought it twice.
Oh, sure. Which why wouldn't you? Probably if it
For
was $20.
$20?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're willing to spend $20, a lot of times you're willing to spend it again if it's a good enough deal, which it
Right.
was.
Right.
So now we have the new Bo-Katan event being re-released another month afterward.
Not even a month.
Yeah.
It's coming back on the 10th.
How do you
Like,
feel about that?
I'm just so confused. I feel like
No, but what about the Bo-Katan thing?
the 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 the
Sorry, go
pack
ahead.
or the event.
No, I'm just being
Uh,
mean. Continue.
I feel like CG went out to like the bar and then fell down a flight of stairs and like just hit buttons on their way down the flight of stairs. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you guys doing? I don't think you know what's going on. Um,
It's like someone like sat on their keyboard accidentally.
yeah, it's also really weird too because um like I have no idea what's going on with this Bo-Katan event. I don't even know if you can call it a cadence. Like it's just whatever. Um, Jedi Cal still hasn't come back, and it's been 4 months, almost 5 months, I think, since he was out. And then you have the Galactic Legend journey of whatever it's called, the pink token fancy event that
Pink Token Fancy Event is what its official name is. Yep.
yeah, that's the scientific name. It's coming back at the when Conquest is over. It's starting again, even though they told us not to expect it at the end of Conquest and it would just run whenever they dang. I feel like maybe they got that confused with the bow event and bow is just going to run whenever they dang and the fancy pink token event should be at the end of Conquest every time.
You know what I hope is when Bo-Katan actually goes into the journey guide that she also just still gets events randomly to unlock. Like they just keep they're like no, literally it wasn't intentional. The button broke and we decided not to fix it.
We don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, so it just occurs randomly. It's in the journey guide, but it's also sometimes just a reoccurring event. So enjoy that.
Um, but in all seriousness, I'm actually kind of disappointed because I was gonna go not like crazy hard, but I've been going decently hard after the shards, thinking that it was gonna be on the 21st again.
Hmm.
There's no way I'm gonna be ready on the 10th for her.
Right, but remember how you don't have any crystals?
Yeah.
Right, so how would you be going for the shards?
Well, I
Like,
mean like farming and then I don't have crystals because I'm buying Beck from shipments because he's still not farmable, CG, in case you
oh,
forgot.
you have crystals? I thought, okay. Wow, interesting.
They go to Beck. So yeah.
Yeah, so one thing I was thinking was, I don't know, if they're gonna make her available every. It's just so random. It kills me. But they're just trying to make some money off of it, apparently, or something. They're just trying to confuse us. Um, I just feel like if she's gonna be made of this available so often, it seems like maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe they're
Right.
like, you know what? That maybe this is. Remember how when Inquisition
Mm-hmm.
was like being released, uh, like we told people for from the very start almost like guys they're giving us all these little signals like
Yeah.
Inquisition is gonna be important guys, work on your Inquisition, and a lot of people are like no they suck, why would I do that, I don't that like fifth brother is like the best leader, he sucks, like why would I do that.
Right.
And then Grand Inquisitor came out and he was pretty decent, but it was still like, well, that's a lot of Chirotech for a squad that just gets beat by Night Sisters. And then Riva came out, and it was like, all right, idiots, like who didn't work on Inquisition despite me telling you all year to do it? And like half the
Right.
people raised their hand. I'm like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I feel like this might be the beginning
Of
of
that.
that for Bo-Katan. Like maybe I feel like this isn't definitive. I'm not saying that. I feel like this more and more makes me feel like we're going to have an unlock on Rise of the Empire. We're gonna get a new planet. It's gonna be
Hmm.
Bo-Katan's planet. It's gonna be Mandalore. We're gonna have an unlock character there.
Um, it's funny actually that you say that because somebody today on the H&N server was asking if they should be pivoting to Bo because it seems like CG is like shoving her down our throat to be like, hey, pay
Hmm.
attention, go get Bo, go get Bo. Um, I feel like for me, I'm going to be mildly annoyed now if we've got like we had her release December 21st and she came back January 21st. She's apparently coming back again February 10th. If she doesn't come back in March, I'm gonna be annoyed.
I mean, I would be too.
Like I
Like
feel like that would just be like
she doesn't
ridiculous at that point.
doesn't show up until June or something. Like what the hell?
Especially because and I'm not saying that this would be like the only way they can do this or whatever, but you brought her back in January. So she released in December and Beck and IG still weren't farmable. She came back in January. They still weren't farmable. IG's now farmable and he's coming back and Beck's or sorry, she's coming back and Beck still isn't farmable unless they make him farmable before her event. I feel like you should, if you're gonna bring the event back around, When those characters aren't farmable, you should bring the packs back around too.
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice.
I feel like that also just like makes sense from a um like revenue point of view. Like if you're bringing something out that isn't easily attainable yet and you have a way to make money to have people get what you're offering, then why wouldn't you do that? Um, it just seems weird. Like the whole everything around her release just seems extremely weird, and I have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if there's some kind of disconnect in their hierarchy where it's like one group wants to make her super accessible and they don't agree. Like someone made the executive decision, no, she's going to be a reoccurring event for a year before she goes into Journey Guide. And some of the people are like, no, I think that's BS. But okay, we have to play to the letter of that law. But we're gonna re-release her like every couple weeks, just to follow the
Right.
letter of the law, but not the spirit. And but the people who are doing the packs and stuff, the economy people or whatever, I'm sure financial people, they're like, no, we're not going to release packs every couple of weeks for that. You're crazy.
It's just so it's so weird too because I'm also like, well, traditionally like CG does this and CG does this, and I'm like, I feel like I can't even um like use examples anymore because they're just kind of throwing everything out the window.
Oh, I mean, if this was GAC, I'd be impressed. Like they switch things up all the time. Like they're just unpredictable. You don't know what they're gonna do. This is the first time they've ever done anything remotely like this.
Yeah, it's I was even saying and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I cannot think of another character that they brought the event back for before all of the characters were farmable. Like brought the event back for a second time before all the characters were farmable.
No, I mean I don't think it's happened.
I don't
I
think it's
don't.
happened.
It's weird, man. But yeah, I would, to the people watching, I would say start pivoting a little bit. I think that I'm not saying she's good enough on her own right now to warrant a pivot. I'm
Hmm.
saying the circumstances surrounding her release are starting to feel like she's going to be needed, and kind of sooner than later. Like sometime this year you're going to want her, and I mean, you may as well pivot a little bit. I think. I think at least if you're not farming the characters, like go start farming the Grogu and
Hmm.
what's his name, the the
As.
the dispenser, and uh, just those two. Like just do a single refresh, but yeah, like start getting some shards so that if you need to panic at some point, you're in reach.
Yeah. Um, yeah, because I agree with you. Everything regarding her release and following like return events has been very odd.
Yeah, and everything. I mean, in some ways, it's so weird that it's similar to the way Inquisition, because that everything they did was
Hmm.
odd in different ways, but it was so far deviant from all the expected other things
Hmm.
this is also in different ways way different from what we would expect. So it's a weird parallel to draw, and I'm not at all like 100%. You should, Typically we tell people like, well, you don't need to work on Afra. Like,
Right.
she's fun. Her Datacron's cool right now, but it'll die and she'll go back to relative obscurity. I mean, she's still good. She's still like worth farming, but eventually, way down the line. Uh, but like Inquisition were pretty worthwhile to get immediately, and it's looking a little bit like Bo-Katan is also gonna be
Yeah.
there.
And I think it's smart to just start farming the shards because the shards are going to slow you down.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah. It's people who start. I always just laugh. People are people ask me for advice, like, what do I do? I'm 3-star on all the characters. Like, should I buy the packs? Should I buy? I'm like, I don't care, man. Like, you're so far behind. Just go do what you want to do. You clearly haven't been like trying. That's like such a flippant, non, I don't know, loving response, I guess, but unkind. I just, uh, you know, people want to resist it so hard sometimes to farm these characters. I don't. I don't blame you. I don't blame people for not wanting to farm characters that aren't accelerated. I
Right.
get it. The
It's a
efficiency thing
grind.
is real. Yeah.
Like it takes forever, but
I just, yeah. I hope the Bo-Katan isn't needed for anything, but I would prepare for the worst. If you want to get to that for immediate unlock thing that is potentially out there.
hmm
Well, 'cause what do you think they're working on right now? Like, you say that you feel like they took an extra Christmas break, and we know, like, that's not what's actually happening. They're
right.
working on something.
Right. It's just weird because I'm like, this has been the, I mean, January is over and we got a galactic chase for a ship that honestly doesn't seem necessary.
Yeah, it
Like,
makes the existing fleet a little better.
and that was it. We didn't get any news. We didn't get a marquee. Nothing really to tell us how the year is going to go. It felt, and like when you really think about it, I think to me what really makes it seem even worse is we basically got no news from them since the beginning of December. So we're going on over 2 months now of no news.
Right, which I mean, they've had 2 months of like they know what they've been working on stuff for a
Right.
month and a half. They took a few good weeks off in December, which is fine. Give them some rest. It was a pretty good year last year, I feel like,
Right.
despite them releasing the fleet that shall not be named by you because you don't know it.
But like you started working on what was going to happen in the first quarter of 2024, in the last quarter of 2023 at the absolute latest, probably earlier than that. You know what you're doing. You know that we are bored out of our friggin' skulls right now. There is nothing happening.
Yeah, like the raid is to the point now. It's about to hit that point where stop, working really hard on the raid because it's
Right.
gonna start like it won't be as rewarding. You know, I like start. I've seen so many people working on Saw lately because why not? Like, may as well get
Yeah.
a Rise of the Empire team together for to just
Yeah.
be able to. Do you have Saw worked on? Out of
No.
curiosity. Okay, so
But
many people that aren't you.
You know where Saw is with Leviathan.
What with what?
Yeah. But like, but there's that's the thing. There's so many people that are like, I'm just working on personal projects right now because what are we supposed to do right now?
I will say that this current Datacron set is incredibly. I mean, if you really want to dive down that rabbit hole, it's got so many like the shopping list on it is it's crazy. Like, unless you're spending money, you're not going to get all of the crons that you want from
Right.
it.
Right.
So and to me that's fun. I like that. I like that aspect.
Right. Which is fair.
But yeah, there's nothing new. We have had no news. No news. The last thing they announced was Bane.
Bane. Yep. That was it.
And the third Y wing in our game. So yay for that. Um, but okay, let's pivot to
Mm,
the trigger photo here. And you can't actually see it. I know I told you which
no.
one it was, but so because the trigger photo is so lengthy. So what we're seeing here is Supreme Leader Kylo timed out on Lord Vader, which
Mhm.
happens. But then
It's a
you
thing.
scroll down here. Yeah. Look at how close Lord Vader was to death. Here, I'm going to zoom
I
way
feel
in.
like this is a zoom. This is a throw your phone scenario. Like I would be pissed
I know. Well, it's not even
if I
3v3.
if I actually tried.
I know. Look at that. You can, if you really squint, you can see that tiny little bit of
Right?
red health. This person timed out. God,
Ugh.
it's like a damage over time on him would kill. Like on a galactic legend does like no damage, but it does like a tiny bit. I feel like that would have done it. Like
I would just be so mad.
I feel like Barris, one hit from Barris would kill him.
I feel like we needed to know what the cleanup team was. I would like
I,
to know.
like the cleanup team for the broken phone, or
Yeah, yeah. What phone did you buy to replace your broken one? And
right? How pissed was your wife?
yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna
Man.
go over to Sarah's channel. It's
Hmm.
once again, I forgot to tell people at the start of it. So yeah, go to Sarah's channel. It's in the video description, the link to it, or it's below our faces, probably in the vicinity of Lord Vader's still partially alive face. I feel like
Mutilated body.
that health bar is where Kenobi left him. Yeah,
Ugh.
on Mustafar.
He was like, bye. Time out.
Yeah, and he had burning, and he just assumed that the burning would like make him die of sadness, but it didn't. All right, so
Uh,
yeah, we're gonna go to Sarah's channel, and we'll roast a roster. We'll talk about a pack.
mhm.
Um, there's all sorts of shenanigans afoot over yonder. So
As usual.
subscribe, comment. There you go over there, please.